The year is 1779. The American Revolutionary War was in full swing, and on what was to eventually be U.S. soil, the British had just begun the execution of their Southern Campaign, a strategy in which they sought to rally their loyalists along the southern coast before heading north. In keeping with this plan, a year prior they had captured Savannah, and were showing a strong grip on the American South. For the last 2 years, since June of 1777, U.S. troops had been marching into battle, flying the stars and stripes that would come to symbolize their new nation, 13 red and white stripes, and 13 stars to show the unity of these 13 colonies.
Alright, that was pretty good.
But on May 10th of 1779, Secretary of the Board of War Richard Peters penned his concerns about the uniformity of the flags being flown, stating,
"It is not yet settled what is the standard of the United States."
A few months later, across the Atlantic, in the waters of the United Providences of the Netherlands, Peters would be proven right. This is the story of how the US flag is actually really hard to describe to someone who has never seen it, and I'm kind of obsessed with this. We all learned in grade school how to color in the flag, how to start with a red stripe at the top, alternate our way down, color the blue background behind all 50 stars. Well, some of us did. So how did this flag... Wait, what? How did this flag get flown over a 44-gun warship of the U.S. Navy? Today, the U.S. Navy is the largest navy in the world. Some would argue that Disney owns this title, but that's a different video entirely. By some standards, the U.S. Navy also has the largest air force in the world, second only to the U.S. Air Force. But in the early years of the Navy, things were much different. Ships were often loaned out from allies like France, and that's exactly how Captain John Paul Jones came to take charge of the USS Bonhomme Richard, a French merchant ship converted into a military vessel for the war.
John Paul Jones, at your service.
Jones himself had shipped out of Philadelphia in February of 1776, well before the U.S. flag, as we recognize it, started to become a common sight. Jones by himself is interesting enough to get his own video, but he was widely regarded by the British to be a pirate based on his take-no-prisoners fighting style and creative tactics. After transferring duty onto several ships, he found himself in command of the Bonhomme Richard, which he immediately made his crew drop the French pronunciation to give a shout out to Ben Franklin and his Poor Richard's Almanac. After being chased up the British coastline, Jones and his fleet engaged with the British in the North Sea off of Flamborough Head in Yorkshire. The Richard exchanged fire with the British frigate HMS Serapis, and immediately realized that they were heavily outgunned and outnumbered. Realizing this was going to be a good one, thousands of Brits swarmed the shoreline to watch their navy take out the rebel scum. After the Serapis took out most of Jones's men and all but 3 of his guns, his officers begged him to raise the white flag. But being the stubborn Scotsman that he was, he pulled out his pistol, knocked out one of the officers with the butt of his gun, and told the rest to fight on. Jones ordered the Richard to come about and take a line to ram into the side of the Serapis in an attempt to board the ship as it was still bombarding them. As the ships tangled together, the captain of the Serapis yelled to Jones,
"Has your ship struck?"
To which Jones replied,
I have not yet begun to fight.
Just as one of his men ran below deck on the enemy ship, tossed a grenade into a powder keg, and took out almost all of the Serapis's remaining guns. Realizing their defeat, the British surrendered the Serapis to Jones and his remaining men as the Bonhomme Richard sank behind them. The now USS Serapis, heavily damaged from the battle, sailed into neutral Netherlands for repairs. When the Serapis landed at the port of Texel, they were flying no insignia and would be classified as pirates without one.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen.
The Dutch, happy to help, consulted letters from Ben Franklin himself that read,
"It is with great pleasure that we acquaint your excellency that the flag of the United States of America consists of 3 stripes, alternatively red, white, and blue, a small square in the upper angle. Next the flagstaff is a blue field with 13 white stars, denoting a new constellation."
So definitely some room left up for interpretation here, but the Dutch whipped up a flag for the Serapis and promptly updated their national record to reflect this flag. this flag as the official national flag of the United States of America. So next time you go to make fun of a child that can't quite grasp the finer details of our flag, just remember that Ben Franklin, the crew of the Serapis, and the entire Dutch United Provinces weren't so hot at it either. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This is a new series that I wanted to try out. We're able to take a deeper dive into some of my many musings, things that I'm totally fascinated by. If you have something that you're also fascinated by as well and want me to do a video about it, leave in the comments. I'll definitely read all of them, and hopefully I'll do one of them in the future. Again, I'm going to be posting these every Tuesday from now on, so stay tuned, and thanks again for watching.